So let's start with Green Bay and San Francisco because this was an actually really entertaining game.
Moment wasn't too big for the Packers and for Jordan Love.
I thought it was too big for Jordan Love.
I didn't think it was.
He missed a
I
lot
thought
of.
I thought he made the crucial mistake at the end, and
made-
also there was some great plays made there by that linebacking core. I mean, it's not said enough that Dre Greenlaw is an elite.
The last play
Elite
made
player.
it seem like it might have been too big for him.
He's
I don't think it was.
No, that's fine. I mean, and by saying the moment's too big for him, I'm not saying that because believe me, we've been on the Love bandwagon.
Like if
all
I'm
year.
a Packers fan and that happens, I kind of say, we didn't expect
be-
to win this game.
we'll be okay.
We'll be back. Which is why on yesterday's show on Tops, I was talking about the rivalries. The rivalry's back, and I'm not talking about Bears Packers. I'm talking about Packers Niners. I mean,
Yeah,
this is
Packers,
classic-
Cowboys, Packers, Niners.
This is
That's all good
classic
stuff.
NFC football.
But I will say this: I do think at the end the moment was a little bit big for Love. Like the 3rd and 2 miss was big. The Aaron Jones 3rd and 2 miss. Obviously the
I
pick
thought
to,
the Packers forgot how to tackle.
Sure, there's that. The pick to Greenlaw, the 3rd and 9 where they got no answer against blitz. Like that's schematic. The bad pick, even under a minute, you don't need to throw that ball. There have been great quarterbacks who the moment was too big for them in a particular game. That's a really good defense, okay?
Yep.
I think where they fucked up was not going in for the kill earlier.
Yep.
Okay, like you don't even have to rise to the occasion in that moment. If you take care of business earlier in the game, okay, like
Didn't they go for it early? Like when they could?
yeah, they got stuffed on a but more here are my issues, okay? Green Bay is up 21-17 under 8 minutes to go. They got the ball in plus territory in field goal range. Okay, you got to be thinking 6, but if not, we'll take 3. Okay, we all know what happens after that, okay? And this year, Carlson has missed either an extra point or a field goal in 10 of the last 12 games. You can think back to 2014 when the Packers busted that onside kick. You can think to 2021 in the divisional playoffs against the 49ers. They had a missed field goal before the half. They gave a big Debo return in the second half. They got a punt block with 4 minutes to go in the game. Like special teams, if you're a Packers fan, it's like a bad word. Like you don't want to hear the two words special teams, and they were all time bad in 2021, the year that they did that against the Niners at home. They brought in Bisaccia, everybody's favorite guy, one of my favorite guys. Everybody wants to see him do well. They improved, but this year they just weren't great, and it's more of the same. And yeah, they got the kick return, and you could say the special teams kept them in it, but it's another peg in a long line of like the Packers special teams are a nightmare. And to me, the biggest problem, and this is not on Jordan Love, the biggest problem is, one, I don't think they were aggressive enough with the lead. And I think part of it was the rush. I think the rush was great, and the rush was getting to Jordan a little bit. And Jordan's eyes are more check down, encouraged, rather than like, hey, we were talking about matchups outside with Ambry Thomas. We had all these shots.
Didn't get to him.
Didn't get to him. There was a play, I think, in the second quarter where Ambry Thomas and Fred Warner have trouble passing off a deep over, I think it was. And if you watch Green Bay, you know that as the play develops, these zones, you're going to find voids, but you need time. You need time. And I don't think they had enough of those explosives on the deep overs and that sort of thing. I don't think Jordan Love had the time he needed against this D-line. So credit to the D-line. But when you get in the red zone, because early in the game, they ran the ball almost at will on the perimeter. Like they were unafraid, whether it was 1 high, 2 high, they were not going to get scared out of running the ball. And it worked. But when they got in the red area, especially in the first half, okay, 3 times they got in play. Well, first down at the 13, -2 on split zone. Okay, so they're behind the sticks already in the red zone, and that's the worst place to be, behind the sticks. Okay, 3rd and 1 from the 14. This is the sneak down, right? So they get stuffed on inside zone and then the sneak. So 3rd and 1. 1st and goal from the 9. They run split zone, and Lenore, who played really well that drive. Remember, he knocked Love out of bounds. He came down on that RPO. He was a step early. He was a step early on that split zone. He beat the tight end to the spot. So this Steve Wilkes group was prepared in the red zone. And I think the Packers, as good as they ran the ball and as great as Aaron Jones is, when the field gets shrunk,
Yep.
and there's not as much space to play with on the back end, the run support comes down quicker. It's easier to load the box and that sort of thing.
It's all about when everybody in the stadium knows you're going to run, great teams can't run.
They do
They're a
it?
good football team at running the ball.
But they're not a great team.
And that's like the Ravens
Oh yeah.
are like, come on,
Hey,
come on.
we're running power.
Yeah.
Good
Stop
luck.
it.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's where
Did you buy your ticket for the ride you're about to
yeah,
go on?
and that's where the Packers got to get to, and they're just not there yet. And I thought like they had every chance to win this game. That I thought part of it's the play calling, but again, I'll say this: Jordan Love under constant pressure. I just can't come away from this game and say like he's not the reason they lost because he's at least part of it. You hit some of those third downs late, and I'm talking about the gimmies or don't throw a pick in a certain situation. Brock Purdy, the whole game, because the whole group of us was on the over. We were dog cussing this motherfucker.
The wet bandit.
Oh, I thought you were an MVP. All this stuff. The ball's squirting everywhere. And I want to be fair to this guy. The difference in the game was he made the big throws late.
Yep.
And Jordan Love didn't. And so that, like, the 11:23 to go in the fourth quarter. Not that this led to points, but this definitely flips the field a little bit. And it's just on its own, it's a great throw. Okay, 11:23 to go in the fourth. 3rd and 10. And he loves to layer these throws behind second level zone defenders. He'll fit it in between. This is the ball he throws really well. The safety and the backers. I don't care how much depth these backers get. I don't know if it's because in practice he's used to having to fit it over Fred Warner's head.
Yeah.
And those motherfuckers can get depth. And so it's easy to throw the ball over 25's head. But that ball he threw to Jennings was like a holy shit throw.
Some guys
for all the
look
bad throws.
Some guys look at the safeties, I think, and I never play quarterback. I think some of these quarterbacks, when you're talking about that linebacker depth, they're trying to gauge him and the safety squeeze. I think some guys look at the safety. I think to your point, Brock's looking at the linebacker. He's saying, fuck safety. I'm going to make this throw over this guy's head and make my guy make a play.
And he's gotten really good at this, Kyle, and like, you know, beating man. And that drive was huge. I think sometimes if they win the Super Bowl and that drive happened in the 90s, they'd have a nickname for it. I mean, that was a great drive.
The drive.
One of the drives or something like that. Because
drive.
They took the catch and then catch two. Catch two is a better catch than
Which
catch one.
Which one was catch two?
Catch two is T.O. Crying.
Yeah.
Candlestick. But I like the 3rd and 5 to Ayuk. It was a bullet, tight coverage, the Conley throw. I don't know why they don't have more depth, at the second level in Green Bay there. But wet ball, the whole thing, he threw some ducks, but he also threw some balls where he had to make the plays, and he made the plays. So as much as we were talking about Jordan Love and as much as, hey, if we were drafting quarterbacks today on like a randomized team that doesn't have Deebo Samuel or fucking Trent Williams or Ayuk or all these guys, like I might draft Jordan Love before Brock Purdy, but it ain't by much. Because Jordan's got more to prove, and I know to some people this is inflammatory and a hot take. I think Brock is a good quarterback, and he outplayed Jordan Love. So there you have it. I mean, like coming into the game, I would have said the better quarterback in this situation would be Jordan Love. Brock was better. Now, Brock wasn't perfect, and it's going to take better than that to beat the Lions, in my opinion.
And he better hope the weather ain't.
It's not going to be. I think the weather's going to be pretty good. I think we're going to get Purdy and Goff.
Him and Goff are both happy about the good weather.
Yep. And so somebody just put this in the post. I just want to shout out both D-lines, really, but Green Bay, Devontae Wyatt, Kenny Clark, Preston Smith, Rashawn Gary, those guys were fucking fantastic. And I know, like, they just did exit meetings. And, you know, you look at the numbers, you say, hey, the magic number was 60 yards. If Christian McCaffrey goes for 61 yards, you know, they're probably going to win. If he goes for 60 or less, they've lost 3 or 4 in those situations. And especially with Deebo down, they built a flat wall all night. Devontae Wyatt was working a fucking 7-man sled. It was beautiful. Kenny Clark was sprinting out and trying to decapitate guys out on the perimeter. Like, they busted their ass. Rashawn Gary, Preston Smith, setting edges in the backfield. There's a lot to be excited about with this group up front for Green Bay. I'm a big fan of this group, and I thought they got let down by the back end. You know, like the back end did not play big in big situations. I'll give you an example. 106 yards on the ground. They gave up 40 on one play. Everybody knows the play I'm talking about in the fourth quarter, McCaffrey. And yeah, 93 gets reached. I didn't just mention 93. 7 gets reached. But you've got an alley there, and 26 can make a tackle one-on-one. And it's not Route 64. It's like a 2-lane road. You got to make this tackle. 26 just whiffs, right? That's Johnson. He just whiffs. And you know, on that same drive, they couldn't pass off an explosive to Kittle. They missed 2 picks Like one of them at least is a pick six. And these are enormous, man. If Brock Purdy throws you these balls, you got to make him pay. Because if you catch those balls, we're not talking about Brock Purdy right now.
Yeah.
And that's the way this game goes. And so, you talk asshole hero, Jordan Love, you want to make him to the asshole, Brock into this wasn't perfect quarterbacking play on either side. Green Bay did not take advantage, man. Like you talk about those pick sixes, you talk about when they got in man on the Kittle touchdown. You remember the Kittle touchdown? Diabolical man ID. So they know they're man. And Green Bay's in a blitz. They don't get out of it. They run Kittle right across the field. And, Savage is just standing there. He's flat-footed. Like, I know it's George Kittle, but can you run with George Kittle? Yeah. I don't mean to make it too.
These are the obvious ones.
These are the obvious ones.
You got to know if you're bringing pressure, like the onus is on you. Your zone or your man, it becomes stretched out. Like,
it's of the utmost importance.
Yeah.
And like on the last drive, the 3rd and 5 I talked about with Ayuk. I mean, Nixon gets beat inside on that one.
Ayuk was pissed a couple times at Purdy. He was like, "Throw me the ball."
Yeah, you might as well. Poor depth on the Conley catch. Like
Dropped a few though.
The back end for Green Bay just didn't play big enough. If you got a front like that, I would be, and I know some young guys stepped up for them this year, but to me, you wasted that group because they played really well. Last thing I'll say, Deebo Samuel, he's going to affect the outcome of this game either way on Sunday. And I just want to say this, all respect to Deebo Samuel. I'm a huge Deebo fan, okay? And this isn't a criticism because his body can only do what his body is capable of doing.
Yeah.
This guy plays the game with reckless abandon, and I fucking love it. But there is a wear and tear.
Shoulder.
There's a wear and tear. And let me just 5 years, I think he's played in 16 games or the full season one time. Okay. And he might miss another big one this week. He missed a big part of this game. He could have been the reason they lost. I'm not saying he's that good, you know? So I just remember when he was talking about, I want to get paid as a wide receiver and a running back. Well, like, you're getting some running back attrition now if you look at, like, Debo's body, and he you can't tell a guy like that not to play like Debo, because Debo playing like that is what makes Debo.
That's all he knows.
So I'm just saying, from a team building standpoint, that's a lot of eggs in a basket of a guy who might not be healthy in the biggest situation because he plays this way.
Yeah, and I'm
so like they have to have other answers.
And to see see that as a competitor, I feel like I'm not as afraid of Debo going into this game if he does play, because of what you're saying. I wouldn't think that he would be throwing his body around in the same reckless abandon that he has been.
Yeah.
Because he would be trying to get through the game and be effective and those type of things. But Debo is he's sort of a like on-field bully. He's the guy that you kind of know, like, hey, we have to deal with him. And if he does well, it's a huge factor. So, and
it just also, it goes to show how much he opens up for them, because he's such a unique guy. You can give him the ball out of the backfield, he's going to kill you on a shallow crosser.
Anytime you put him in motion, the defense, you have to pay attention to a whole bunch of different checks that could be coming. Is he going to quick motion back? There's a lot of different
Where
things.
was the yak for them when he went out? Where's the
when
the
he
rat
gets the
gone?
football,
you know,
when he as an offensive lineman, we used to have, I played with Brandon Marshall, and he would get the ball on a 3-yard something and turn it into a 17-yard something, and on the way to 17 yards he would make 3 men look like boys, and it would inspire a unit that would go cover downfield to pick him up to go kick ass on the next play. That's the impact Deebo Samuel has. Luckily for the Niners, they have a few of those guys.
But they got to find ways to play left-handed a little better. You know, like Patrick Mahomes has been playing left-handed all year. You want to talk about, and I know some people be like, that's not what I'm saying, but when we talk about quarterbacks and we say, hey, you want to be in that club, you want to get into, like, it's tough. The membership is like, you got to be able to play left-handed.
Ambidextrous club.
And I thought Purdy made some of those big-time throws. And so the book is not written on his playoff run yet, but he's got to play a little better next week.
The Jim Abbott Club
if he wants to get in
playing
the bowl.
one-handed.
Yeah, Jim Abbott. The Jim Abbott Club.
The Jim Abbott Award.
The Chubbs,
which would be the
Peterson
quarterback that had to adjust and ball out regardless of circumstance.
Yeah.